G'day kids and welcome back to Story Time with Gaz. This is chapter 4 of the Mr. Men book. Yes, I have broken this book into 4 chapters, but it's been worth the wait. So we've been seeing Mr. Greedy as he eats clean to get lean, and we've seen his adventures so far. If you've missed them, tune into the earlier videos. Last time we were reading this story, we met Mr. Clumsy. Mr. Greedy had even tried calling in on Mr. Clumsy, who had reluctantly or recently gone gluten-free. But it wasn't a good time. There he is, head down in a bucket of bread. "What's the matter?" said Mrs. Greedy at dinner that evening. "You haven't even touched your fava beans." Mr. Greedy explained how he had been trying to lose weight so that she'd fancy him again. "Fancy you? Of course I fancy you," she said. And then Mrs. Greedy explained that she'd been trying to lose weight so he would fancy her again. "Fancy you? Of course I fancy you," he said. "So we both fancy each other," they both said together. And with that, Mrs. Greedy chucked the fava beans in the bin and hugged Mr. Greedy's roly-poly tummy. Then Mrs. Greedy had a splendid idea to make them both feel better. She invited Mr. and Mrs. Giant from next door round for dinner. Whoa, that must be Mr. Giant. He's huge. I hope it's not Mrs. Giant. And do you know, from that day to this, Mr. Greedy never felt big again. So if you're as greedy as Mr. Greedy, you know what to do, don't you? Find some bigger friends. The end. Well, I didn't see that coming. That was Mr. Greedy Eats Clean to Get Lean. This has been Story Time with Gaz. If you've got a book recommendation for me, send it through. I will sing to any level, apparently. Hope you've enjoyed the videos. Thanks for joining us. See you later, kids!
Juggernaut!